So something I'm doing is certain entries from my book that's being edited right now. Well, part one is section one is reading certain excerpts from it and then providing additional content and I don't know what you would call it. Brain injuries. God, dude. Um, Supporting information about it. So I'm just gonna do this. So this is a writing I did called The Forever Pursuit. There are moments and there are experiences that happen inside of a moment. I will never forget the day that changed a huge aspect of my life and how I live it. Only 18, I was in the East skiing for 10 days with friends. The day of our arrival was beautiful and sunny, and enjoying the gondola ride up the mountain soon changed to planning a huge jump from that now visible cliff face. If we get snow, was my line to my friends as I was the daredevil of the group. It snowed for 8 days straight, dumping almost 7 feet of fresh powder. And of course, the last day was a beauty, and time to put my money where my mouth was. I was by definition an extreme skier that tore up the hills in the Rockies and wore the latest North Face steep tech gear just like Mr. Schmidt and Mr. Blake. This face, however, was much higher than anything I'd ever jumped off of. Poaching a closed run due to the amount of snow and then jumping the fence to go OB, which is out of bounds, takes commitment and has a potential fine of $10,000 for just being OB. After working my way through the heavy eastern powder, nothing like the champagne in the west, I was exhausted standing atop the cliff with my tips hanging over the lip. At roughly 8 stories up, I could see a small crowd starting to gather and waiting to witness my wipeout, I'm sure. I could hit the gondola cars with my pole. My friends took off as they didn't want to know me in the event I didn't land it or remain injury-free. I began to second-guess my decision, so much so I was prepared to take off my skis and hike back up the fence, which would have taken a couple hours and all that so. Suddenly the silence was broken with the yelling of, "Hey, you!" Turns out that was all the motivator I needed, not to mention didn't have 10K to donate to the Red Coat and White Cross Mafia. I pushed off and had perfect form throughout my descent. I entered the snowdrift at the base of the cliff and reappeared almost 20 feet below, on both feet, speeding towards the base of the mountain. A quick look over my shoulder just to say to myself, holy fuck, I landed it, found me, and staring at the same 2 ski patrols following my tracks right off the top of the cliff. The adrenaline coursing through my veins prior to seeing my company was unbelievable, but now I can't even describe that feeling, that rush, that intensity, that electricity. Oh, how this changed my life. To experience such feelings and energy naturally occurred with my body from actions I put myself in. Well, now I have to leave that there, as this is the pursuit. The brain is an amazing thing. So, what I want to talk about, even prior to that point in my life, I was already seeking adrenaline rushes, but this was the pinnacle rush for me. That sensation, that high, I've been chasing my whole life. So much so that I've done other things throughout my life that in pursuit of that rush. Driving a snowmobile over in excess of 200 kilometers an hour. We race cars, doing stunts on a BMX, going to the skate park with my son and spending 12 hours there to see what we could do. It's always the rush of pulling off that thing that you might fall and hurt yourself doing. The funny thing is it's this affliction that textbook definition is TBIs, traumatic brain injuries, but the people that I'm working with, and myself included, both we agree that I have CT, which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is what's tearing up professional sports right now, football, hockey, and others, both men's and women's now. And my belief is we haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg. I refer to my generation. I'm 51 years old, as the Jackass movie generation. It was our generation that all of a sudden, coming in the late 70s and 80s, into the 90s, tricks just got bigger. They got more insane, and stuff that they do now. I just sit there and shake my head. I can't even believe what they can do on skis or mountain bikes or BMX to skateboards, you name it. Snowmobiles, they're backflipping freaking snowmobiles now. It's and way more than that. Double backflipping, I guess. I have no idea. It's just insane. And so from that, then we had the Jackass movie or the show, and then the movies. So think about all the online content you can look up of people doing what I like to affectionately call stupid human tricks, and how many injuries happened. And the problem is, especially with the testosterone-fueled portion of the population on the planet. When we are in a group, it's like, even if you hurt yourself, you stand up, oh, yeah, I'm good, man, I'm good, and walk it off. Well, you can't do that. You just can't. And I honestly believe as we start to age out, and and then there's generations beyond ours, like there's probably 3 4 they're still up to the same crazy stuff. So they say 3 untreated concussions is enough to lead to CT. Who knows? There's a lot to be discovered and researched, and Boston University Unite Brain Bank is leading the charge. I forget the doctor's name who's running that. I should really learn it. Well, I did learn it. I've learned it a few times. But hey, welcome to the Brain Dented DJ show. I forget that. Forgetting is something I'm learning to live with on a regular basis. It's kind of funny. But so I don't even think we've seen the tip of the iceberg as to people that are going to be affected by this. Thanks to things like social media and the internet, everybody gets to see this, and then everybody, some people like, hey, man, people were eating Tide Pods. Like, come on, really? So it's kind of funny. So pulling off a big stunt and looking cool, well, that's what guys like to do, especially adrenaline junkies. And it's not just guys now. There's a lot of females that are just righteous, hardcore sports athletes in the extreme world and regular sports. It's just it affects everybody, and that's one thing. This doesn't discriminate. It's doesn't matter what religion you are, what color you are. You hit your head, you hit your head. And funny thing is, like, you cut yourself, we all bleed blood, red, same color blood. Well, we all hit our brain, and pretty much has the same effect. So, anyways, it's the kind of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not gonna. I don't want to tell people not to do these things because it's fun. It is fun. I've lived it. I've done it, and I'm thankful I did. I lived and knew in those moments that when you're potentially staring death or certain nefarious things in the eye, and you pull it off and don't. It's a rush, and but there's a price to be paid for the rush. So I just want to make sure people know, wear helmets. One of my worst bicycle accidents happened because that day I had 3 helmets sitting on my dresser at home, and it was too hot, and I chose not to wear one. And then I went down on my road bike at 37 miles an hour, face first into the asphalt, and blew the both whites of my eyes out, completely red, and chewed up the side of my face. And it was a brutal accident. I had to go for CAT scan and all that. That was back when I was 14, I think, 14, 15. I can't quite remember, but around that time. So, I want to work with Play Safe Canada, and then I want to talk to a couple of helmet manufacturers, and obviously still Pit Viper, because I would really love to have my Pit Vipers back. Holy crap! It's just a matter of finding them. I've tried to find them ones online, but I don't know. I get lost 3 clicks into a Google search engine sometimes, and as you can see, my phone is sitting here still doing its lovely thing, which sometimes it works. Sometimes the whole screen flashes bright yellow. It's fun. So looking forward to getting my new phone tomorrow or the next day. I just this is what it's about. This is what I want to work on. I just want to create awareness. I want to talk to parents. I want to do events, and I don't want to be a club and rave DJ. I'm using that platform because a lot of the people in this scene participate in what we would call extreme lifestyle sports, and I just want to kind of get the word out, and I'm also partnering up with somebody from the auto racing and automobile sports industry in this regard too, because this doesn't just affect one group of people. It affects everybody. You can be in the kitchen, simply turn around and bang your head off a cupboard door, and oops, there's a concussion. It doesn't take much. So I just want to create awareness and, make sure people are playing safe. And if it's really something that you got to wonder, should I do this, then maybe you shouldn't, even if you are wearing all the equipment. Because, even a strong jolt to the body is enough to jar your brain inside your skull and give you a concussion. So, it's up to you. It's your life. It's your world. You're living in it. You're the god of your own world. But I just want, maybe some of these things aren't such a good idea at the time. But if you're gonna do it, make sure you're protected, helmets and that. And if you do hurt yourself, get to see the doctor. Like I'd be lost without Dr. Riley at Elite Sports Medicine in Red Deer. It's he brought me back. He has alternative therapies and stuff because I'm totally against the pharmaceutical industrial complex after my accident and being wired on oxys. I've been off them now 2 years since July 7th, and I still have another year before my body actually gets back to normal. But which part of my body is going to get back to normal first? My brain, my shoulder, my body from the oxys? Who knows? And, I'm trying to beat this thing and playing a game of we'll see. Anyways, one love and plur. Doctor out.